Hello, sir. My name is Sarata Priya. Today I will do my presentation. Number one, a similar drama for monologuers. Scarlet Heart Ryo in the choral language, Powo Kyongshin Leo. Plot in the drama when the total sunsets, sunsets in, a woman from the 21st century Ko Hashin, returns to the Chojo dynasty. He's building the body of a 16 years old teenage girl named Hesu. They are falling in love with the eighth Prince Wang Wu, then to the fourth Prince Wang Su, who is hidden behind a mask and gets the nickname Wolf Dog. Like modern network people, with the matter love rivalry, politics, and the friendship that takes place among handsome prince fighting for the throne, friendship, and love. Characteristic in the drama has three main players. Number one is Ko Haji, is a 21st century modern girl who has thrown thousands of years ago into the age of the Choryo kingdom and trapped in the body of a previously reincarnated girl named Hesu. Hesu's character is a typical modern girl who is smart, kind, and smart in adapting to circumstances. Hesu is a fearless woman and never achieved being stubborn, sincere, and considerate of everyone. His bold attitude aroused the curiosity of the Chariot prince. I thought at the first he was very afraid of his surroundings. Hesse finally moved on and was optimistic that they want to start his life in the well in the chariot. Number two is Huang Su becomes the fourth prince. His name is Wolf Dog, a prince who has a pathetic lifeline. Since childhood, was exiled by the family to the Sinchu area to be adopted as one of the concubines, who is a fact they treat him no more like a pet. He is a man who is intelligent, wild, dangerous, and angry. On the one hand, he is a prince who is innocent, kindly, and helpful, but those around him always think he has a sinister and cruel nature so that he slowly turns into a scary person. He always wears he always wears a mask on the left side of his face because many people say he looks like a monster because of the ones he got as a child. The last is Muk, eighth prince, was a prince who was famous at the time as a smart prince in the world of education, tough, a gentle-hearted prince, and very polite. Setting in the drama, which taken the setting of the Choryo era, is adapted from a Chinese novel entitled Piu Piu Qing Xin. This fantasy genre dramatizes of a woman named Hesu who traversed from the modern era to the Choryo era. Hesu is called because the Choryo prince and the falls in love with Huang Su. Summary. The story begins where there is a total lunar eclipse. Kohajin is lamenting his fate by the lake after being betrayed by his boyfriend. Sorry, this is boyfriend. Boyfriend and best friend. At the same time, Hajin saw in the child who was drowning. Haji immediately jumped into the lake to help, but unfortunately, he was carried away by the current and drowned. When he woke up, mysteriously, Hashin was already in the right place. Apparently, he was in the place of King Taeju, the king who ruled in the early days of the Chorea dynasty thousands of years ago. Hashin is now trapped in the body of Hesu, a 16 years old girl who is also a member of the royal family. Hesu, who has an outgoing and cheerful nature, is immediately well received by the members of the kingdom, especially by the prince. Some princes even like Hesu, such as the eighth Prince Wanguk, and the promise to marry him after his wife died. But this promise can be kept because many things get in the way and one character turns into being too ambitious the king. After that, Jesus also befriends and the fourth prince, Wang Su, who is cold hearted and ostracized. Thanks to Jesus' kindness and cheerful heart, Wang Su falls in love with her and they become lovers. Then there is a young prince named Wang En, who is cute and innocent. Wang En also like Jesus and has confessed her feelings, but her love is not reciprocated. Besides these three princes, there are four other princes who add to the story and conflict of Jesus' life in the plays. Number two is explain the component of melodrama, realistic, and theater of the absurd. Number one, melodrama. Literary components are often called elements of the drama structure. The elements of drama structure include plot, actors or character, dialogue, setting or background, theme, budget, and conflict. Each component of literature is interconnected in forming a drama. All literary components are unfit by a whole and cannot be separated. Number two, realistic drama. Realism in the drama was a general movement that developed a set of dramatic and theatrical conventions with the aim of bringing a greater fidelity of real life to text and performance. The main features of the theater of realism were focused on real life. The theater of the theater of realism investigate and spoken about real people in everyday situations, dealing with component problems, and emphasis on behavior and thought decisions with a elevable dialogue. Number three, I didn't find the component, but I found the features in the theater of the absurd. Multi-artistic features are also to express strict theme with a comic form. The features include anti-character, anti-language, anti-drama, and anti-plot. Of the absurd, we get their own personalities as a formal case. Number three is melodrama. Number one, I choose It's Okay That's Love, written by No Hee Kyung. This drama airs on the South Korean national television station CBS. It's Okay That's Love tells the story of the characters who have personality disorders. Even though each case has personality disorders, they are able to carry on as usual. Each case strengthens each other. A good drama to know about the mental health. Number two is Descendants of the Sun, written by Kim Mosok. The story begins when Yo Shijin and his fellow soldier So Young try to catch a cell phone thief. The thief was subdued, but fell off the motorbike and was seriously injured. They took him to Haesung Hospital. At the hospital, Si-jin meets the doctor, Dr. Kang Mo-yeon. The stolen cell phone is secured by Mo-yeon. Si-jin tries to retrieve it. Mo-yeon doesn't believe Si-jin is a soldier, so they have a disagreement. The dispute ends with interaction, and they are attracted to each other. But after a while, they become close. Mo-yeon decides to end her relationship with Si-jin because time and all plans that are set are always cancelled. Si-jin then assigned to a fictional country called Urarki. Mo-yeon also gets an assignment from a hospital to a conflict country to carry out a humanitarian mission with her team. The conflict country turns out to be Urarki. They meet again. This is a realistic drama. I choose A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. It's like a doll doesn't do anything with her life. She stays at home and changes cooking and makes sure she's making her husband happy. That's exactly what Nora Helmer did in Henrik Ibsen, A Doll House. Theater of absurd. Number one is Samuel Beckett. Samuel Beckett is undoubtedly the father of the absurd. Not only did his prolific career as a playwright and novelist cements his reputation as the most prominent voice of the genre, but he also helped popularize the movement's often challenges vision, waiting for carriage centers around two vagabonds, Valdemar and Estragon, is the wait from a mysterious figure named Karat, or pronounced Kot, and spend their time desperately breaking the silence with witty dialogue. Number two is Janet Gannett. Janet Gannett's balcony is a dainty-like journey to the depths of power and how such a force and feeling and living and destroys certain people, set in a brothel during a revolutionary uprising. The setting acts as a microcosm for the absurdity of social importance and oppression. Instead of being an enterprise of sexual pleasure, the brothel becomes a hub for society's most bacchanalian pursuit, to hold power over others. Number four is explain the elements of melodrama, realistic drama, and theater of the absurd. Number one, elements of drama. The key features of melodrama is a form are pathos, overwrought or hate, tenet emotion, moral reason, or good faith evil, non-classical narrative structure, especially the use of extreme coincidence on the ex machine to feature plot elements, and the sensationalism, emphasis on action, violence, and thrillers. Number two, elements of realistic drama. In the literature, writers use realism as a literary technique to describe story elements, such as setting, characters, themes, etc., without using elaborate imagery or figurative language, such as similes and metaphors. The last is the theater of the absurd was a short-lived yet significant theoretical movement. Common elements include illogical plots inhabited by characters by operate out of harmony with their own existence. The typical player had never seen anything like this on the stage before. The theater of the absurd will be remembered in history for many things. Below are the main conventions of the theater of the absurd, meaning is language, ritualistic, utterly logical, and realistic. Cliques, short times, and overused, repetitive, action sometimes the piece logic or easy understanding, one extreme to the other without notice, often sombre and serious, then highly comical. Though sometimes accompanied by a frenzied, face-based monologue or extremes. Story and origin of melodrama. Storytellers from the earliest day of the written world have incorporated melodrama elements into their works. It wasn't until the 18th and 19th centuries how the melodrama evolved. as its own separate types of entertainment. Its original form was a spoken recitation of pantomime set to live music with Piggy Malyon by J. Jacques Rousseau being their first full-length melodrama in this vein. The combination of spoken word and music generates an emotional response the viewers and has significant entertainment value, promoting readers to develop and original longer, more dramatic works than achieve the same aim and minimize or eliminated the role of music. English and French dramatists were popular plays filled with stock characters, hyperbolic situation, and the dramatic language, A Tale of Misery by Thomas Holcroft was the first recognized English melodrama. By the middle of the 19th century, sensation novels were Great Britain. They stretched the bounds of romance and realism with entertaining storylines that often hang on shocking secrets. The books paved the way from the future evolution and popularity of the genre, which are more melodrama in dramatic and literary works, and especially in the film and television entertainments that would take off in the 20th century. Realistic drama. Dramatic realism was first staged in the 1870 and continued throughout the 19th century. It was introduced to bring more people to the theaters so that they will be able to connect with the play and enjoy it more. Henry Ibsen was the first to come up with the idea of realistic drama. Realistic drama is seen as prevailing as it was in the 19th century, but it still has its influence in some parts of the world today. In the late 19th century, drama they replace the artificial romantic style with an accurate depiction of ordinary people in a reasonable situation. Since the beginning of drama, invention had existed. These were later rejected by directors and playwrights in an attempt to create a perfect illusion of reality. This movement revolutionized contemporary theater in every aspect, from scenery to style of acting, from dialogue to makeup. They moved away from melodrama and stilted dialogue to the pen-truthful language of reality. Was led by Henrik Ibsen, who is often called the father of modern realism. Okay, this is the last. Theater of absurd. Origins. The theater of absurd are thought the theater of the absurd is often tracked back to the 1920 and 1930. Its roots date back much farther. Absurd elements first made their appearance shortly after the rise of Greek drama. In the wild humor, in the buffoonery of comedy, and the plays of Aristophanes in the particular. The morality plays of the Middle Age depict every time characters dealing with allegorical and sometimes existential problems. Thank you.